Well, you know, we normally shoot a lot of threes in practice anyway, but when we practice in the Buck, which we did all last week, we don't get as many because there's only one basket, you know, one full court, and big guys are at one end, the guards are at the other. So on Monday and Tuesday, we went over to the practice facility, got a lot of shooting in on Monday and Tuesday. We took yesterday off, we'll practice today, both in the Buck for a while and then back over to the practice facility to get more shots up.
You think that was an aberration?
Oh, I just think it was a matter of, we played on December 8th, didn't play until December 19th, played the 19th, 22nd, then took 3 more days off, and then a few days to prepare for Princeton. We just, it was, the practice times were erratic. So we're a little bit more stable this week, a little more like it normally is. So I would say we should be back in sync. We look good on Tuesday.
I didn't get a chance, I was just with him, didn't get a chance to ask him, how is Quan doing physically and is he okay?
He seems to be in very good spirits, and he didn't practice Monday or Tuesday, but he's been shooting, so I think he'll be fine.
Everyone else is fine? Is everyone health-wise?
Appears to be at this point.
Jim, what do you make of the slow starts the past 2 games? You think it's part of the same thing, the erratic practice schedule?
Yeah, I really do. We've worked so hard defensively in practice that the offense has suffered a little bit. You know, the concentration by the players, which it should have been, was on the defense. But based on our practice on Tuesday, I really like the way we practice, and I think we're in a good position.
Can you talk about FSU a little bit? Just what you said.
They are the most talented team that we'll have faced so far. They have 3 guards that are bound for the NBA in their starting lineup. They've got more size, height, length than any team we've played. They're 3rd in the country in height. They start a 7'3" center and come in with a 7'5" center. So, you know, you don't see that very often. So they are a major challenge for us. There's no question. The first challenge is to get back defensively because they're playing faster than ever before. There are 2 teams in the country that you can count on to play really, really fast, and that's Carolina and Michigan State. They both run even after made field goals. Florida State is playing at that kind of tempo. They're in the top 20 in the country in tempo. And we're going to have our track shoes on and really be good at running in both directions.
So this is a different kind of FSU team than the stereotypical FSU of the past.
Well, normally everybody recognizes their size, and so the focal point is on their front court.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have that size, and to go along with that size are outstanding high-octane scoring guards. I mean, anybody who was here last year saw that Rattan Mays, if anybody can score 30 points in 4 minutes and 38 seconds, you got to concern yourself with. Now they have 2 freshmen who are both averaging 17 points a game. And that means you have 3 guys like that you have to worry about. Plus Bookert is playing really, really well off the bench. So you have really a 4-headed monster in the backcourt. And then you've got these huge guys up front.
Is this game any more important just because there's 3 straight road games afterwards? You know, you don't want to go on a bad note on the road against.
I don't want to look ahead.
Okay.
You know, we really need to take things one at a time. And even though we know what we're facing, home or away in this league is a daunting task. You know, did you watch the games last night? You know, Wake Forest and Duke, a fantastic game. The other night, Virginia Tech was a fantastic game. Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech was a great game. Every night you're seeing high-level teams and individual performances.
do you stress that to your team also? You know, is that a common theme that you always say to them, don't worry about the next game type deal?
Yeah, yeah, we try to take it one game at a time.
Can you talk about, with that height, with 7'5", 7'3", how critical is Ivan and
Yvonne
Yeah.
and Tanya.
Tanya this week?
Well, the most critical thing is keeping them out of foul trouble, because Boris Bojanowski has caused us some problems in the past, and we have fouled him needlessly in both the last 2 seasons. So we need to do a very good job of guarding him, but also helping Tanya and Yvonne guard the guy. In addition to that, their 7'5" player that comes in off the bench, Kumaji, is someone that is very emotional. He's very, very active, and we got to be sure that we're controlling our emotions, because this is a game that can create a lot of intensity.
So it's a commentary on the league that you're talking about, playing those talented team you faced, and they're 0-2 in the ACC.
Yeah, I think this league, from people who have observed it, thinks that we might have as many as 10 teams make the NCAA tournament. And I was talking at lunch with James Johnson, or just prior to when I was about to eat lunch. I was talking to James Johnson about someone's going to finish 13th in the league. And you're like, yeah, and the team's going to have like NBA guys in their roster. I mean, you're looking at who's going to finish 13th. And it's going to be somebody who's got really good players.
James, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Jaquan Newton's development, just what he's been able to do. He shared a little bit of, he knew he'd be called on with the transfers, so he put in the work this summer. From your perspective, how have you seen him grow?
Well, I think the first thing is, as a freshman, he recognized early on some of the areas of his game that needed improvement, and he's devoted a lot of time to those areas. He worked on his free throw shooting, he worked on his three-point shooting, he worked on his defense. He's just worked very, very hard to get stronger, tougher, and position himself to do what he's doing now. And we're very, very confident in his abilities. What's great is his attitude. He's our 3rd leading scorer, yet he comes in off the bench. He's been able to handle that role and be our 6th man, to be our catalyst off the bench. And he's kind of run that, what we call our green team. And that team, our bench, has been very, very effective.
Just knowing that that's the spark plug off the bench, that's got to make you feel good. That's your
Well, it's nice to know that you can count on more than just your starting 5. There are some teams, if you look at their lineup, you can say, well, we have to stop this guy or that guy to win. With us, although some people would naturally tend to look at Angel and Sheldon, we do have more weapons than that. Davon Reed and Ivan Cruz-Uceda, Jaquan Newton, those guys have really stepped up and contributed offensively.
Jim, how do you feel that you've defended length this year? Just teams that do have a significant amount.
They're a challenge. We're not that big. Tanya is really the only true big man we have. Yvonne is tall, but he doesn't have great length. He's not a high elevation. Kamari Murphy is very, very athletic, but he's only about 6'8". Now, a lot of the players in this league in particular are 6'10", 7 feet, and in Florida State's case, 7'3" and 7'5".
So does that, do they present a particular challenge in that?
They do, especially from a defensive standpoint. When you go to the basket on them, they can be totally out of position and still block your shot. They can be totally out of position and still make you miss with a contest. So you have to be extremely active on the offensive boards. You really have to offensive rebound. That's what made Bryce Johnson of North Carolina enjoy so much success against Florida State on Monday. He was very active on the offensive boards and got a lot of second chance opportunities.
Did you watch the game on Monday?
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's a lot to talk about with that game, but I wanted to ask you in particular about Vital and Musburger. Their energy.
You're talking about the Oklahoma-Kansas game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just their energy. Is that impressive? I mean, two guys that are.
I talked to Dick Vitale this morning,
Yeah. Okay.
and I told him what a great job he and Brent did.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm 76 years old, but if I don't look in the mirror, I don't feel it. Mentally and physically and emotionally, he is still very passionate about what he does. Brent Musburger the same way. They're very high-level professionals. And when I watched that game, they were very entertaining, very well-informed, and really delivering to the audience, the listening audience, the viewing audience, a great story. That Oklahoma and Kansas are for real.
I think the last game that Dick did, was that the Duke game? The last Hurricanes game that he did that you can remember, or possibly?
Yeah, that I don't know. Oh, it was last year's Duke game.
Right.
Wasn't the Duke game here? Didn't he do Duke
He was
last year?
here for one Duke game, I can't remember if he did.
2013, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
did one last year, the year before that.
I don't remember that.
How much does it add when, you're still trying to get the message out nationally about Miami basketball when you have the opportunity to have Dick Vitale here and be on Big Monday a couple times?
Well, I think the responsibility of athletic programs is to be the marketing arm of the university. So you want to send your message out, and the best way to do that is through a television audience. And when it comes to ESPN, Dick Vitale is a Hall of Famer. And you love when he's in attendance because he's wild and crazy guy. And so even your students get involved more than they ever do before. And the excitement that it creates in the arena, there's a buzz. There'll be a buzz on Saturday afternoon. And when the students see Dick, there'll be even a greater buzz. And during the game, because he's, yelling out, he's awesome, baby. and that's what we want for our basketball program, because our future student athletes are a part of the spectating audience. And we want those kids to see that we're a big part of the ACC and big-time basketball. We're hovering on being in the top 10. We're in the top 15 in the national polls. We're going to be playing on national TV a number of times. Not only is we have 2 Monday night games, but we've got a CBS game with North Carolina on a Saturday afternoon, in primetime Saturday, like at noon or 1 o'clock, right? So that's great for our basketball program.
So students are back this weekend?
Classes start on Monday. Hopefully some of them will come back early.
You mentioned amazing run at the end of that game here last year. What do you remember about that? What sticks out in your memory?
Of which game?
The game last year, the 30 points in the last 4.5 minutes or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought Rattan Mays was absolutely unconscious. That after the game, he should have declared for the draft. Actually, I thought he was going to declare for the draft. He was that good. I've never seen anyone do that,
Yeah.
ever. And I've seen the greatest players in the history of the college game play. I never saw anybody score 30 points in 4 minutes and 38 seconds.
Who's trying to guard it? I say
The
trying.
whole University of Miami basketball team. He made a shot against Iowa in the closing seconds of an overtime game. And if you go back to those closing seconds and see the shot he made, that's what he did against us for 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Just one incredible shot after another.
What do you do as a coach? You just sit up and throw up your hands? I mean, obviously, no matter what, I don't know whether.
You hope that you're scoring at your offensive end. If you're not stopping them, you need to keep scoring, which we just scored just a little bit more than they did, so.
The one
That,
shot,
eventually, that's what counts.
the one he banked in, I think stands out for me.
Yeah, from the left, right in front of their
Just
bench,
like- Just,
where he got fouled.
yeah. Reed hit him hard. Fouled him pretty hard. I mean, you guys caught on to him at that point. Knew you had to do something to stop him, and Reed pretty much body checked him, and he still banked it in.
That was an amazing performance. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.